Hi everyone, Cindy here with Create Your Own Luck and Love. I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. I can't believe it. Does it feel like everything's going so fast at warp speed right now? But I'm excited to dive in a little bit deeper about what we were talking about yesterday. And one of the things that drives men crazy, this is a top thing in a good way, is vulnerability. And a lot of people are challenged with vulnerability because they're not exactly sure what that looks like. And it can be scary. And so in explaining vulnerability, men have the tendency to want to fix things. And when it comes to when a woman speaks to him or tells him about something that had happened to her, maybe in the past. So one of the things that, so men are they're fixers by nature. And as women too, we also do like to vent. So it's important if you're sharing something, and this is vulnerable, that you say something to them before you share. Just say, I wanted to share something with you that is a little scary for me to share, but I'd love to let you know, and it could be anything, right? And I'm not looking for it to be fixed. I would just love it if you listened. And that way they can offer support or just say, I'm just looking for love and support around this, and I feel like, sharing something with you. So vulnerability in relationships, in any relationship, is built over time. And if you're somebody that can be a great connector, ways to do that is looking into someone's eyes, finding connection points, and really opening up around communication. And communication is the cornerstone to really great relationships. And a lot of times what will happen too, and this is a biggie, if a man becomes vulnerable, women will at times emasculate them. And you guys may be thinking, no, I wouldn't do that. But there may be a part of you, if a man shows a weakness, or that he hasn't handled it all, or that he's imperfect somehow, or hasn't always lived his life where he is today, that you may see it as a sign of weakness. And we are actually trained in our society to look at things that way. When it comes to the difference between a man and a woman that can show up with compassion and acceptance and love of a partner when they share themselves vulnerably, that is a woman who's done work. And a man that can listen and hold space for a woman when she shares vulnerably is a man who's done work and is really there to connect on a deeper level. So I'm just talking to you a little bit about social norms, and then jumping into, is he serious about you or not? Well, I can tell you this. I talk to women all the time, and this one thing just breaks my heart in two. And it's when I hear patterns of women getting involved in relationships over and over and over again. And what happens is it's a different face, but in reality, the two of them aren't looking for similar things. So they're not aligned, right? And that just creates heartbreak. It can create bitterness. It's horrible. Let me answer this question here. Chatting with, yeah. So Kate's asking a question about online dating. First of all, if any of you guys work with me, you know that I don't recommend chatting with a guy for a month online. One, because they're just not as motivated. They're not as motivated to meet you after they've been chatting for a month. But one of the things that I would just say, Kate, to him is I would just be like, hey, look, let me know if you're up for grabbing a quick cup of coffee or something. I always find it easier to meet in person to see if there's a deeper connection. And that's it. I always find it easier to see if there's a deeper connection by meeting in person. Easy. And then he'll go, yeah, sure. Awesome. How about if we hop on the phone for a quick 10-minute phone call before meeting? You can lead online. It's once you get offline, once you get together for after that initial meeting, let him lead, let him pursue, let him contact you. Yeah, because you're going to be waiting around for people if you're doing that online, and if the guy just says, oh yeah, and then just continues chatting, you need to fade off because he's not really serious about meeting. And you want to meet people who are serious about what you're serious about. Okay, back to seeing if a man is serious about you. Seriously. Anyway, if a man is serious about you, he will. You don't have to question it. And I don't care. I mean, there definitely certain men can have things in their lives and hang-ups and whatnot. However, a lot of that, in my opinion, is an excuse. Because I know that if a man really wants a woman in his life, he will move mountains. Men are also driven by fear. Hear me on that. And they don't like competition. So, if a man, one of the ways to help yourself not experience a lot of heartbreak and pain, which nobody wants, is to pre-qualify them when you meet them the first time. A lot of times profiles are, especially with men, sometimes they're a little more detailed, are not as detailed. And so you want to turn it into a meeting, and you meet them and you just talk to them. How's it going? What are you looking for? Do you believe in the dream? And not like you're doing like the Spanish Inquisition. Have fun, laugh, talk about your dogs, like find connection points. And the way to show if a man is interested in you is he's going to be moving things forward. And you can find out, like, let's just say it's a really high value for you, Tina, to get remarried. Awesome. Then you want to make sure that that person is in alignment with your values. And you can just be like, oh, if you met the right woman, would you get married again? It's almost like please pass the salt. But not in a heavy way like you're the one. So, there's a disattachment involved. And if you meet somebody for the first time, I don't it is not, you should not get that attached to the outcome of you and him ending up together. It's like, hey, I'm meeting people. I like to take things slow. I get to know people as friends first. And really go into it with that attitude and have fun, and it becomes more successful. And if, yeah, men, that's a good question. So Kate asked another great question. Kate, you're on fire today. This is good. If a man gives you his number, and oh, hey, Anne. If a man gives you his number and asks for you to call him, then the reason why they do that, typically if you're meeting online, is because they also respect the fact that you are a woman and you may feel more comfortable calling them. So hopefully you have a Google Voice number or something, and you could say, sure, when's a good time to ring you? Because I don't know if you want to really give out your real number before you know them. And I don't say this to be paranoid. I really just say it to, for our own safety reasons, right? And as women, it's a smart idea to consider that, like Googling yourself, making sure that your address doesn't show up on Google. For some people, it does. I always go over that with my clients, and they're like, oh my gosh, I better take a look. Especially if you're in a profession that maybe you're a business owner and you have a brick and mortar business and it shows your business address. You might want to figure out something where you don't have that showing up associated to you. So those are just a few tips. Getting back to if he's serious about you, men, we can turn kings into toads or princes into toads with the way we show up. And a lot of times women, we will show up in fear, or we want to cover up or try to be perfect. And what that does is it doesn't always exude our most authentic self. Like, I'll talk to women that'll say, gosh, I don't get it. The guys that I'm not really as interested in always ask me out again and again. Well, it's probably because you're acting different. You're acting like yourself. You don't have an attachment. And that in and of itself will create, if you can practice that, that's why I always say get on a lot of dates, because if you can practice that and have that unattachment feeling, even with a guy you think is really attractive or someone that you're feeling a deeper connection with, man, that makes it so much easier. So is he serious about you? Well, if you show up in the beginning like you are high value, meaning that you do have a life, you are receptive to getting together with him, but you are still dating other people. And I recommend that usually for the first 3 months. It's, it is a flow, and you want to make sure that you're honoring yourself. You're not sleeping with someone until you're sure there's a commitment. And on the other side of it, if a man starts, kind of settling into the relationship, and they do that after maybe you guys have gone on a beautiful long weekend trip and you're super connected and you had such a great time, and then he hasn't called you in 2 or 3 days, it's possibly because he's full. He's had a lot of you and he's happy and he's just focusing, because men are single focused, focusing on what he's doing. He isn't like us. He can't possibly look at 5 different text messages, email, talk on the phone, cook cook dinner. You get what I'm saying, right? So it's not personal, and give him the space to come to you. If you are letting him lead and letting him be the one, even in relationship, to contact you most of the time, then he has to work a little harder for you. And if he's not showing up satisfactory, you just simply have a conversation and not get mad. And you got to calm your emotions. So if he canceled the date last minute 2 or 3 times in a row, or whatever, I mean, life happens. But if he did something like that is just not feeling quite right, and we can feel it in our body, then you just communicate and just say, hey, I really enjoy you. I think you know that, and I really enjoy us spending time together, and I've liked where it had been going, and I'm getting the feeling that you're not that perhaps we're not on the same page, and I'm looking for something that's real and long term, and that's moving into whatever. Maybe you guys had discussed it at one point. And it's totally fine if you're not on the same page. We can part ways, wish you the best, and, I'm looking for something that's real. And call it a day. And that way, it's your call. That way, what that is, and it actually drives men a little nuts in a good way. It makes them think, oh wow, she's going to be okay if she moves forward without me. She's fine. And she's not trying to change me. And I think a lot of men and women do this too, because they fear engulfment. So they'll think, oh wow, she's not trying to change me, she's really great, and you give them space to figure it out, and then you get out there and you date. And that's why dating multiple people for a period of time is so important, until your man shows up for you. And you'll see it, because they hate competition. And they may be, and if they ask you right away, oh, I like to jump in. I like to get into committed, I like to just date one person at a time. I totally understand that, and I respect where you're at. And for me, I find that I like to take it slow, and I love getting to know you. I like where this is going, and I'm going to continue to get to know other people, because this is an important area of my life. And that's, I'm looking for the real deal. So I hope this is helpful. And today is the 7th day in our Love Online love advice, right? I don't even know what I'm saying. So please post below if you have questions, anything like that. I'm going to do a little, survey in here. I definitely want to jump in, help you guys out, do some Facebook Lives. I'll also be doing some webinars, live trainings, things like that. And then, yeah, we'll keep me posted, keep me updated. I'm loving all the posts in here. And let's see, Marissa, you just said, I took your advice last week and told the text-only guy I wanted to be in a great relationship. I'd like to see him, but understand if he didn't want. Yeah. Cool. How did it work out? Did he call you back? Awesome. I'm glad he liked it, you guys. All right. Well, I'm glad these have been helpful. I'm so looking forward to diving in deeper. I do have a few openings on my calendar next week. So if you feel called to, I know everyone has their own specific love life story, and you might need a little bit of help around that. So I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to give you some real solid feedback and some things that you can do now in your life that can change, that can shift things. And I'm excited for each and every one of you to empower yourselves and create the possibility that you really desire in your life. Sending lots of love. Oh, I got one question. When dating a man, how long should you wait before you have the talk with him about looking for more? Great. That's good, Marissa. That makes me happy. Just keep going and move forward. Yay. Well, what I would recommend is, I like it when a man is inspired to actually have the conversation with you. And so I recommend dating multiple people, not getting intimate with them, and getting to know them as friends. And you might have one that you're really into. That's typically the case. And, you know, you're not spending all your time with that person. You're actually pacing things. And I generally say that at about the 3-month point is a really good time to evaluate that. It could be 6 months. It could be a little less, but I'm just saying usually about that point is key. And if he knows you're dating and he's really into you, he's going to be inspired to take you off the market. So he will be inspired to, he might feel a little bit, they don't like competition, so he might feel a little threatened. So, yeah. I hope that helps. Keep me posted, guys. All right. See you later. Have an awesome night. We'll see you soon. Bye.